I had a little bit of time to myself, and I was sitting down reading a book, and realistically, what the last chapter or two boiled down to was just taking action. And I wanted to apply that now to some of the things that we've talked about, especially in the realm of personal finances. But it definitely applies more broadly, I think, to everybody's life. Uh, if you're in a place now where you want to see something change, I think some of the biggest things that we have to ask ourselves is what's preventing me from taking that action to actually make that change. A lot of people want to get in shape. They want to take that new job. They want to go to that new school or start studying for something else or learn a new language. All those things can feel like big jumps. And I think some of that we just have to look at ourselves and say that we're looking at the negatives or we're looking at the downsides of what happens if something goes wrong or doesn't go the way we expect it to. And we're essentially projecting these thoughts onto something that really doesn't have as much impact as we may think it does. Life continues to go on either way. And I think most of us would say that if we made that jump and it came true, our life would be in a much better place. So realistically, what do we have to lose, and why are we not taking that on? In personal finance, it might not be as high stakes as quitting a job or moving to a different city, but the decisions definitely accumulate over time, and they build up as you get older and older. And as your personal finances become more and more applicable to your daily life. When you're younger, you do have a little bit more freedom. You can be a little bit more risky with some of those investments or how you want to divvy up your money on a week to week basis. But as you start to get to middle aged and especially towards retirement, some of those early decisions really are going to come in and be impactful. So if you're sitting there right now and you're asking yourself, wow, I really want to be in a different place, then I would just encourage you to make that jump, to take it seriously and figure out what that next step is, whether or not it's just writing down your expenses, whether or not it's getting a new job or working a second job to bring in more income. All those things are going to accumulate, and you'll be really surprised how in a few months you can make a really big progress. Now, when you start to make that progress, I think one of the things that's nice is to reflect and see how great of a position we truly are. At least here in the US and in America, we have freedom to essentially make whatever choices we want and to go after whatever goals we want. And we see that all the time. We see entrepreneurs start business. We see people go after multiple degrees or doing research in some of the newest sciences. You can honestly go after anything that you have interest in, which I think is a fantastic opportunity, and we should all be striving to do that. So with that opportunity, what I would recommend, and one thing that I have to try to tell myself is why not me? Why can't I make that jump? And what happens if I'm successful? We don't always have to look at the more pessimistic side or look at the what ifs of if something goes wrong. Let's picture ourselves having that new job or moving to that awesome new city, starting that new life that we've always asked for or wanted. It happens to people all the time, and it's not going to come to you unless you try for it or unless you ask for it and actually take steps to go for it. So looking at the more optimistic side and saying that I can do this and this can happen to me, I think is encouragement that we all need to hear. So with that said, don't let the over information around finances bring you down. Don't let it discourage you. Some of these simple steps can be taken and they can make huge changes to your life. Even if you're looking at retiring soon, you can make huge strides. And if you're younger, you have even more time and more opportunity as well. So if you want, check out the platform at simplefinances.co.